Jennifer Reardon desperately clung to the airplane's fuselage. The wind buffeted her against the wing while the passengers and crew tried to pull her back inside. Just a moment earlier, the left engine of Southwest 737 had exploded at an altitude of about 10,000 meters, causing a window near Jennifer to shatter and sucking her out of the plane. The aircraft made an emergency landing, and she was rushed to the hospital. However, her injuries were too severe to survive. This is the second part of our series on the unluckiest deaths in history, so viewer discretion is advised. On June 15, 2018, on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi, in the Perinding Valley, North Toraja region, 40-year-old Saman Kondorura was mourning the death of his mother, Berta. Torajan funerals aren't like our usual farewells. They're more like a lively party with lots of people, dancing and music. During this bustling chaos, something terrible happened. As the coffin was being lifted onto a lakian, a decorated ritual tower, one of the pallbearers lost his footing and the coffin unexpectedly fell from the bamboo ladder right onto Kondorura. He was crushed instantly. Saman passed away from his injuries in the hospital that same day. Now he rests beside his mother. But there's a story where danger wasn't a tradition, but part of the show. In 2024, Vistex Asia was celebrating its anniversary. The event took place at Ramoji Film City in India. Everything was going grand and pompous. So the company's leaders wanted to make an equally spectacular entrance. The CEO, Sanjay Shah, and the company president, Vishwanath Rahu Datla, was being lowered onto the stage on a special rig with wings and fireworks, descending from the theater ceiling. Suddenly, the cable holding them snapped right in front of 700 employees. Sanjay and Vishwanath fell from a height of 5 meters. Shah lost his life on the spot, and Datla remained in critical condition. The police are still investigating what exactly went wrong with the wire. But while the risk of such a stunt might have been somewhat foreseeable, the next incident was almost impossible to predict. On January 29, 2018, at Nair Hospital in Mumbai, India, Lawbag resident Rahesh Maru was looking after a relative. A hospital attendant oddly asked him to bring a metal oxygen cylinder directly into the MRI room. This seemed strange, as an MRI machine is essentially a giant magnet. Rahesh wasn't even allowed into the ward until he removed all metal items, such as his belt and even his wallet with a clasp. But the attendant assured him that the machine was off and posed no threat. Yet as soon as Maru re-entered the MRI room with the cylinder, the magnetic force pulled him toward the MRI machine. He was severely injured and couldn't free himself. The most horrifying part was that the cylinder burst open, and he inhaled a lethal amount of oxygen and died. Pure oxygen can be a poison for us. Its excessive amount in the body disrupts carbon dioxide removal and lung ventilation, causes internal bleeding and muscle spasms, and can lead to heart failure and clinical death. This isn't the only tragic story involving the inhalation of a deadly concentration of gas. In 2012, 14-year-old Ashley Long told her parents she was heading to a pajama party in Oregon. The party guests decided to have fun inhaling helium from balloons, which makes your voice sound funny. Ashley was hesitant at first.
I think she felt like she was going to let us down if she didn't do it, because this guy was just holding it up to her mouth, telling her to do it.
However, she didn't want to lose face in front of the group, so she did it. After taking a big breath, she felt sick and went to another room. Her friends found her lying on the floor. At first, they thought she had passed out from drinking. They tried to wake her up, but Ashley was already gone. If you're one of my subscribers, you might remember decompression sickness or caisson disease, which occurs when a diver surfaces too quickly, causing gas bubbles to enter the bloodstream and potentially block blood flow to the brain, leading to a stroke. In Ashley's case, something similar happened. She passed away from an embolism caused by inhaling helium from a pressurized tank. As it turns out, death from helium is rare, but it's a real risk. It shows that you never know when something seemingly harmless might turn deadly. Take Shannon Stone from Texas, for example. In 2011, he was at a baseball game with his son, cheering for their favorite team in Arlington. Baseball fans love catching balls that fly into the stands, and there are plenty of videos online showing people scrambling to grab one as a souvenir. Sometimes they even call out to the players, asking them to toss a ball their way. Shannon wanted to surprise his son, so he called out to outfielder Josh Hamilton. Josh threw the ball toward the fan, But as Shannon reached out to catch it, he leaned too far over the railing and lost his balance. Video footage shows another fan trying to grab Shannon, but it happened too quickly. Shannon fell through a gap behind the scoreboard from a height of 4 meters, landing on concrete. He didn't survive. Still, deaths at sports events aren't uncommon. For instance, Linda Goldblum lost her life when a ball flew into the stands and hit her in the head at high speed. I'd never imagined, though, that you could even die in a cheese factory. That's where 74-year-old Giacomo Caparini worked. One day in 2023, he entered the aging room in his factory in Bergamo, northern Italy. Giacomo wanted to check on an automated robot used for cleaning the cheese rounds of Grana Padano. One of the shelves started to wobble and collapse for some unknown reason. Like a domino effect, the rest of the racks followed suit. There were about 10 rows of shelves from floor to ceiling, each holding around 1,600 cheese rounds, each weighing about 40 kilograms. They all came crashing down on Giacomo. He suffered numerous injuries from the heavy cheese and large metal shelves. Giacomo couldn't escape, and the weight of everything piled on him made breathing hard. He suffocated shortly after. It took rescuers 11 hours to clear the debris and recover his body. But even if you don't own a cheese factory, you could still be at risk from artificial intelligence, even if you're not using it. On March 18, 2018, around 10 p.m. in Tempe, Arizona, a self-driving Uber car was operating on autopilot. There were no passengers, just Rafael Vasquez as the human safety driver. This meant that the car was essentially controlled by artificial intelligence, but a human was present in case of unexpected situations. Suddenly, at 64 kilometers per hour, the car struck 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg, who was crossing the road with her bicycle. The thing is, Herzberg was crossing in an unauthorized area, and the car's sensors weren't programmed to detect pedestrians outside of crosswalks. The camera recorded that at the moment of impact. The safety driver's hands weren't on the wheel, and he was looking down, probably at his phone, so he couldn't take control as quickly as he should have. The woman passed away, and after the incident, Uber stopped using self-driving cars in several states. You might call me a coward, but I would never get into such a taxi. Besides, as experience shows, people who love to take risks often find themselves in horrible accidents. For example, in 2010, 19-year-old Sam Ballard from Sydney, Australia, was enjoying wine with friends when he decided to amuse them in a peculiar way. A garden slug was crawling in front of Sam, and in front of the group, he ate it. Everyone laughed at their slightly drunk friend's antics. However, a few days later, Sam began complaining of severe leg pain. Then he started experiencing nausea and dizziness. At the hospital, it was discovered that Sam had contracted rat lungworm disease, a rare condition caused by a parasitic worm that typically lives in rodents and can infect snails and slugs. The parasites had entered Sam's central nervous system, causing serious damage to his brain and spinal cord. This led to a coma that lasted 420 days, leaving Ballard paralyzed and unable to eat without a feeding tube. After emerging from the coma, his life was forever changed. Sam spent 3 years in the hospital and required around-the-clock care, unable to perform basic functions without help, and remained confined to a wheelchair until the end of his life, which didn't last long. 8 years after the tragic incident, Sam Ballard passed away. He was only 27. His last words to his mother were, "I love you." This case is an example of how an innocent prank can turn deadly, as death can be waiting where you least expect it, even at the gym. On June 18, 2024, in Pontianak, Indonesia, a woman whose name was not disclosed in the media was exercising on a treadmill for about 30 minutes when she decided to step off the machine to wipe her face with a towel. She lost her balance and fell onto the still-moving treadmill. This caused her to be thrown backward, where, just 60 centimeters away, there was an open window. The woman tried to grab the window frame, but it didn't save her. The gym was located on the 3rd floor, and the woman died in the hospital from the injuries sustained in the fall. I also don't like that in my gym, the treadmills aren't positioned to face the window, but I never thought that could also be dangerous. Therefore, the distance between the window and the treadmill should be at least 1 meter. Established safety standards are extremely important, and the next horrifying incident happened because of a rule violation. In October 2015, in Las Vegas, Nevada, 24-year-old spa worker Chelsea Ake Salvacion decided to use a cryotherapy chamber after the rejuvenance facility where she worked closed for the day. Sessions in the chamber typically last only 3 to 4 minutes. Liquid nitrogen creates extremely low temperatures, which in certain doses can help burn calories, improve sleep, and strengthen the immune system. As an experienced machine operator, Chelsea used it alone without a safety net. It's not exactly clear what happened, but in the morning, when other employees arrived, they found a horrifying scene and immediately called 911.
Oh my God! I just got to work. She must have put herself in the chamber by herself.
It's likely that during the procedure, she suffocated due to the low oxygen level in the chamber. Some speculate that there may have been a nitrogen leak in the machine, and the girl entered the chamber only because she noticed a malfunction. And if you still don't believe that death can come from the most unexpected places, I'm sorry to say, you can die even in your own car that isn't driving. On April 10th, 2018, Kyle Plush called 911, and with labored breathing, he told the operator that if they don't send help, he was gonna die soon. He then said that he was trapped inside his minivan. Kyle had a Honda Odyssey minivan with 3 seat rows. As with many minivans, the third row folds down to store in the trunk. So when Kyle tried to retrieve tennis equipment from inside the vehicle, he was crushed by the rear seat that unfolded back. Thanks to the voice dial feature, Kyle was able to call for emergency help. But the call was cut short. There were 7 parking lots around the campus where the boys studied, but the police didn't know which one the vehicle was in, nor did they have a description of the car. Then, suddenly, the boy managed to call again. He gave the minivan's model and added, "This is not a joke. I probably don't have much time. Tell my mom I love her if I die." This recording isn't available online, but those who heard it say the operator remained mostly silent and didn't ask additional questions to really help him. Ultimately, when the boy was found, he was already dead. The cause of death was asphyxiation due to chest compression. He suffocated. So never be lazy about getting out of your car if you need something from the trunk, even if you're in a hurry. And while the causes of death in this story are clear, the next case is very puzzling. On June 9th, 2022, in Raipal village, India, an elephant for some reason attacked 68-year-old Maya Murmu while she was fetching water. According to eyewitnesses, Maya saw a herd of elephants coming her way. When she tried to run away, one of the elephants chased her down and trampled her. Murmu was rushed to the hospital, but she died from her injuries. However, the story didn't end there. That evening, while villagers were carrying her body for cremation, the herd of elephants began attacking the crowd, and one of the elephants flung the deceased body away. The animals damaged her house and several neighboring ones. Residents had never seen such aggressive behavior from elephants before. Usually, these are peaceful animals that rarely attack humans. There are theories that maybe the woman somehow angered them. Otherwise, no one knows how to explain their brutality toward Maya, as even her corpse seemed to irritate them. Similarly, there are many questions about this footage from surveillance cameras. It shows a man climbing into a trash chute, and a few hours later, he was found dead in the trash compactor below. This horrific incident happened in Brooklyn in 2022. The footage shows that this wasn't a homeless person, but more likely a resident of the building. Before his death, 2 passerby even talked to him, and a woman seemed to check the stability of the hatch and help the man squeeze into it. No one still knows why he entered the trash chute. There are theories that the man accidentally dropped something important, like keys, or threw it away together with the trash. So remember, in such cases, never try to retrieve anything yourself. Contact the building management and ask them to lead you to the dumpster in a safe way. And never walk alone in deserted places in India. In 2017, Akbar Salubrio went alone to harvest palm oil on the island of Sulawesi and disappeared without a trace. After 24 hours, his family raised the alarm and reported it to the police. They searched the area, only to come across a python that had swallowed something very large. When the snake was cut open, they found Akbar's body. He was officially the first person known to have been swallowed by a python. But the most horrifying thing is that there are at least 5 other known cases like this. So, try not to be the 7th. I hope this video was helpful for you, because now you know where to look out for danger. Write in the comments about dangerous situations you've experienced or witnessed. Let's help each other be more cautious.